Hey guys, it is Coronagate day 100 and I'm coming to you live from church. I'm just going to wait for you guys to kind of log in. I probably have to move back into Stepping Stone our side hall and I probably have to do that because the internet's really bad here. But the reason why I wanted to do it this way is because it's 100 days of Coronagate, 100 days since we kind of have been doing this and we have been in lockdown. So I just wanted to show you around the church quickly before I got into the psalm because I am so missing this place. And it does seem as if the lockdown restrictions are being lifted and hopefully we will be back here sometime soon. So, hey Melissa, you said you weren't doing it. I said I wasn't doing what? Oh, the dancing. I'm not doing any dancing. But let me just show you around the church. Hey Sarah Jane as well. Guys, do you remember this? Do you remember the stained glass windows and the kids' corner? Some of you guys who are tuning in have not even ever been to Hope Church, but here you go. So there you go, guys. I don't know what the internet signal. What's the internet signal like, guys? Let me know. Because if it's pretty good, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Bible and I'll do it from here. So let me know how the internet signal is. It's normally really bad in here because of the thickness of the walls. So great to see the church again. It's great being back in the church. Do you know what? I really miss this place. I even wore my Hope Church t-shirt, which I only normally wear on a Sunday when I'm preaching. But I thought it's 100 days of hope. So I thought I would stick on my colours and wear that. So guys, let me know what's the internet signal like and let me know how you guys been doing. And no, I thought from what I said last night, you weren't doing the psalm. It seems fine. Okay guys, well, I'm going to go through, I'm going to get the stand and I'm going to go and get my Bible because I'd much prefer to do it in the church than to do it in the side hall because it just feels good being back in the church. So, hey Jamie Haxby, how are you doing as well? Yeah guys, what are you going to be doing in all the good weather? My coffee's through there, isn't it? I need to get this stand and I need to get this Bible, all without dropping stuff and making a fool of myself. So, which actually I don't mind making a fool of myself. I even did a TikTok dance video thing, which is not really my scene, and you won't really see me dancing unless I've been drinking alcohol, and I don't really drink alcohol at all, so that's probably the only dance video you will ever see me do. But I thought it's 100 days of hope, it's got to be done, do you know what I mean? So hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. I enjoyed making it. It felt a bit weird, but it was pretty cool. So right, let me get this stand up and turn it that way. So yeah, guys, so what are you guys going to be doing in the good weather anyway? You can stick that in the comment section as I try and figure this out. This is about as far as my technical ability goes. There we go. Ha! We are on. Right. It was excellent. Hey, thank you. I think it was a bit more Bangara, which is a bit more kind of Indian than you guys are maybe used to, but there you go. There's nothing wrong with a wee bit of Bangara. So, right, guys, I'm going to read to you Psalm 13. I'll make sure we've got a stained glass window there in the back. I should have inverted the screen so you are able to read it clearly, but I'm not that good. I'm not that technical. But let me read this to you guys, and then we will walk through this text. O Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever. How long must I struggle with the soul? The internet connection started to go. There you go, guys. So now I've had to leave my coffee through in the church. See, that's the problem with going live. It's you're kind of opening yourself up to all of the problems with going live. But there you go. Hey, let me read this psalm, guys, and then let me walk through it with you. O Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever. How long will you look the other way? How long must I struggle with the anguish of my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? Turn and answer me, O Lord. Restore the light to my eyes, or I will die. Don't let my enemies gloat, saying, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he has been so good to me. So we're not really entirely sure when this psalm was written or what situation or circumstance that David is referring to. The instruction, which is part of the original text, just said it's for the choir director. It's a psalm of David. So there are a couple of things that we can kind of draw even from that instruction. It's a psalm of David, but it's for the choir director. So we're seeing a person who is completely open with his emotions, both negative and positive. Now, the reason why that is important, I think one of the things that we struggle with, particularly in the West, I know different cultures respond differently to when it comes to the expression of emotions. In Indian culture, it's okay for men to cry. It's okay for men to kind of serenade their wives. You know, that's normal. That's okay. That's acceptable. Within Western culture, not so. But even though David is going through this very, very dark time, I think possibly it might be when he's fleeing from Saul. And when he flees from Saul, remember, he leaves his best friend Jonathan, he leaves his wife Michal, okay, he leaves his family, his dad and his brothers. He's the youngest in the family. He's left everything. All he has is a promise. It would have taken about 7 or 8 years, and he is probably at points within that journey asking himself, look, God, you gave me this promise, and look at all the things that have gone wrong in my life. How long, O Lord? This is probably the how long, O Lord, you know, that the teenage girl asks when she thinks about, will I ever make friends in this new school? Or this is the how long, O Lord, maybe the person who's middle-aged and is on their own, and they feel that they're never going to find a spouse and they're never going to have children. You know, how long, O Lord, when you're in that financially difficult situation and it feels like you're never going to be able to own your own home, or you're never going to be able to pay off your debts. And it's like, how long, O Lord? And I'm not going to promise you that everything is going to go well for you, because that's not true. But I am going to promise you that God's salvation is not only eternal, but it is historical and situational. God often, not always, but God often moves in our lives and grants to us the desires of our heart. Yes, we still need to be obedient. No, that doesn't mean you're all going to be rich and famous. No, that doesn't mean that you're all going to end up with the perfect family, in the perfect house, in the perfect area, because those things don't exist. But we can have a confidence that God is good and he is on our side. And we will see that in this psalm. We will see something that David does often. We will see the redemptive reversal. You guys believe in the redemptive reversal. So the first thing we see is the honesty, and there's even, you know, the pain and the anguish. It's not just the positive emotions, it's the negative emotions. How might you do that? Let me tell you how I do that. A couple of things I do. One thing I do is I journal, and I journal in a specific way. So I'm kind of letting you into my soul a little bit, but a number of years ago, I read a book called Confession by Augustine. Let me know, have you guys read the book Confession by Augustine? It's only a small book. It's about this big, okay? Now, it is a work of great... It's a Christian classic, and it's also a work of great literature. So anyway, I'd heard about how important the book Confession was and how good the book Confession was. So I thought, look, I'm going to have to read this book one day. So I started to read the book, and I'm like, man, this is rubbish. I just can't get into this book. And then years later, I went back to the book and I read it in one sitting. I was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I hadn't changed. Sorry, the book hadn't changed, but I had. Okay? And the way in which Augustine writes the book Confession, he said, Melissa, it's definitely worth reading. It's definitely worth reading. He writes it as if he's having a conversation with God. And that's what I do in my Bible journaling. I like literally have a conversation with God in which I speak and God answers. And it is all within the bounds of a sanctified and biblically informed imagination and understanding. But I would go to a passage like this and it would be like, "Oh Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever. How long will you look the other way?" And I'll write something like, "Lord, I feel that you have abandoned me. Lord, I don't understand why you are allowing this to happen to me. Lord, I have people within my congregation who are going through this. And Lord, look what is happening in our nation. Why have you abandoned us? Why have you forsaken us? Is it because of our sin? Lord, in your judgment, remember your mercy." And then what I do is not in a way which I would say is as inspired as Scripture is inspired. I'm not saying that. But then I allow my scripturally informed imagination and my scripturally informed mind to speak back to me. And I will hear the Lord say, "I formed you within the womb. I shall never leave you nor forsake you. You know, through many tribulations you will enter the kingdom of God. I love you and I am for you." You know, and I have that conversation with God. And I would really, really encourage you to do that. Just as a way of just opening up your soul and your heart and your mind to God. And it's prophetic, it really is. The other thing I do is, and you've heard me talk about this, I vlog and I've got a little group in which I'm the only person. And I just kind of share my pains and hurts, but also the good things that I want to celebrate. And the final thing I do, which you may not be able to do, but it's something I would encourage you to do, and I think people in recovery are a lot further along in the journey, have people who you can speak to honestly, people who are not going to judge you, people who you can tell the good stuff and the bad stuff to. And then it kind of goes on, and he talks about this. He said, "Turn and answer me, O my Lord, restore the light to my eyes, or I will die." He's like, there was a time in which I didn't feel like this. Now, the Christian life is not all going to be positive. It's not all going to be, triumphant. But we need to be walking in the victory of the Lord. And he's saying, "Lord, restore the light to my eyes." And one of the ways in which I do this, and again, you've probably heard me talk about this, but I continually, in the Bible it's called an Ebenezer, or a rock of remembrance. I continually put things everywhere. I put things which are going to keep me in remembrance of God's goodness and just spark joy. So in the book that I'm reading at the moment, I've got like an ultrasound picture of our baby, which is going to be due soon. And it just kind of reminds me about God's goodness, and it reminds me to pray. In my Bible at home, the Bible I read from, there's a card that was produced by the Riverside Life Group maybe a year ago, maybe longer than that. And it's got loads of kind of encouraging messages in there. In another book that I'm reading, and I do read multiple books, in another book that I'm reading, I've got a cinema ticket from the film Harriet, which is about Harriet Tubman. And Harriet Tubman was someone who heard the Lord very clearly and helped to see people set free. One of the reasons why I wear this T-shirt on a Sunday is a way of kind of prophetically marking it as a day separate from all the other days, and as a way of trying to get me into the right mindset. When I wake up in the morning, I don't wear pajamas or anything like that, but I used to train quite regularly. I don't train regularly enough anymore. But it was a really positive experience to me, and one of the guys who I used to weightlift with, like I would consider him one of my best friends. And so what I do in the morning, I have a black coffee and I put my training gear on, and suddenly it just kind of puts me in the right frame of mind to kind of get ready to attack the day. These are practical things that you can be doing to help restore the light to your eyes. Songs maybe on your phone, all sorts of things. And then here's the redemptive reversal. Even in the midst of my sadness, even in the midst of my sorrow, even in the midst of my darkness, even in the midst of my uncertainty, he says, but I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me, past tense. I will sing to the Lord because he has been so good to me. He's saying, not only will I remember your unfailing love, not only will I rejoice because you have rescued me, past tense, all the times that you have rescued me before. We're going to get to heaven one day and we're going to realize the amount of times that God has kept us from trouble. But he says, I will sing to the Lord because he has been so good to me. Guys, I would really encourage you to get your praise on. Now, I know it might be a little bit more difficult when you're on your own and you're not within the gathered church and you're not within life groups. But honestly, gospel music, praise music needs to be played really, really loud. And I just want to encourage you, sing in the shower, sing in the car, allow the worship of God to kind of lift your spirit, and it will take you through the dark times. Stick in the comment section as well. What songs is it that you listen to that help lift you? I think one of the reasons why we have the worship wars is because some of the songs back at the time when we were saved, or back in the time when we were young in our faith, means so much to us because of the memories attached to them. Now, it's important to be singing a new song to the Lord, but it's also important not to forget the old songs. So if you've got songs which you think really lift you, Sarah Jane said, really encouraging message, Steve. Hey, good. I hope you have an absolutely awesome day. But if there are songs that really, really lift you, you want easy access to them, so you want to be getting them on your playlist, and stick them in the comment section so we get to hear about them too. Let me tell you about some of the songs I love. You guys are going to think this is all cheesy, but I love gospel songs. I love Freely, Freely. That's a good song. I love Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Love that song. I like a song called Closer Than a Brother, which some of you probably don't know, but it's an awesome song. I love, We Shall Not Be Moved. I love This Little Light of Mine. I love gospel music. I love it. I love it. There is just something powerful about gospel music. And it's a music which enabled people in slavery to have a soundtrack of hope. And what's really cool about gospel music as well is often within the songs, there was a coded message about the abolition of slavery and human freedom. So I'm going to leave it there, guys, but have an absolutely flipping awesome day. Love you guys and can't wait to see you guys again. And get out there and enjoy the weather. So take care, guys. God bless you. Cat Stevens singing Morning Has Broken. Bit of a tune. I like Cat Stevens. Is it Cat Stevens? Snow is Falling as well. That's a tune. By and By. Oh, Abigail. What a tune. What a tune. Anyway, guys, I love you. I better go.